and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. I hope that was in there. Okay, it's the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. Now, got a question of how long can a lien stay on a property? And first, let's talk about what a lien is. What are the most common types of liens? How they affect our business, how they're different in New York and other places. So, a lien is a security interest in a piece of property. Basically, you owe some kind of money, and they place a lien, they file with the county on your property to sort of collateralize that, what you owe. Now, um, let's talk about the most common types of liens. The most common types of liens are a mortgage lien, right? Everybody knows about that. I'll talk about that. A mechanics lien. So a lot of people don't know about that. Tax lien. There's also a municipal lien. All right, let's talk about those. So mortgage lien's obvious. You borrow money on a house. The lender is going to file a lien on the property. In New York, it's called a mortgage. In other states, it's called a deed of trust. Some states, it's actually called a mortgage deed of trust. But what you do is you sign a note that says, I owe $300,000 at this rate, paid over this amount of time. And then they file this mortgage or deed of trust, and that is the lien on the property in case you don't follow the terms of the note. Now, that lien will stay there until it's paid off, and it'll actually stay there forever because one of the things that we come in contact with as real estate investors all the time is these liens show up on title that were paid off a long time ago. So you have a lien, a mortgage that started in 1970, and it's still open because the process to close that lien is filing something. It's called filing a satisfaction of mortgage, and very often it's not filed with the county. What will happen very often is that you'll pay off a mortgage, and the lender will actually mail you the original satisfaction that you and tell you to go, hey, go record it with the county, and most people don't. So that happens all the time. Now, for most title companies, if they see a mortgage loan from 50 years ago, you're going to be able to sign an affidavit that says, hey, it was paid off. But what if it was 15 years ago, right, or 10 years ago, and you paid it off early because you refinanced? Then it gets more complicated. They want to find the lender. They want to prove there's no balance on it. It gets complicated, and it's just some of the things we deal with all the time. Now, one of the beauties of New York is that you don't have to deal with it. The seller has to deal with it. Now, in other states, you're going to have to deal with it, and it becomes a pain in the ass. Now, let's talk about the other lien. So, there's a mechanics lien. A mechanics lien is that a licensed contractor, so an electrician, a plumber, a general contractor, can file a lien on your property if they claiming you didn't pay them. Now, how long does that stay on? So, in New York, it's a year, and then you have to the mechanic would have to renew it every year. I'm not sure how many times they could renew it, but it costs money to renew it. So the idea is that, hey, if you have this mechanics lien now, what's going on with it? He's trying to get paid. Now, what happens, unfortunately, a lot is that you pay a general contractor and he doesn't pay one of his subcontractors, and the subcontractor puts a lien on your property. It's happened to me. It's a pain in the ass, right? You go to the guy and you go, what are you talking about? I gave the GC all the money. He goes, I don't care. I didn't get paid. And then you got to go to the GC and deal with him, the general contractor. It's a pain. But in other states, I think it only lasts 90 days. It's less of a problem in other states where it's really short term, and a lot of the contractors feel like, I'm not going to sit there and go every 3 months to renew this. In New York, it's a year. Some guys will spend the time to renew it. They feel like it's a good way to get paid. Now, again, if you're not selling the property or running title on it, you're not even going to know there's a mechanics lien on it. But some people, they're going to refinance after they do work. They're going to sell property after they do the work, and then this is going to hold them up. Okay, another lien is a tax lien, so that's very common. Usually, that is there. So there's two different types of tax liens. There's more, but let's say two. One is property taxes. If you don't pay your property tax, that lien goes on your property. That stays there forever. Not only does it stay there forever, but it depends what kind of state you're in, what kind of county you're in. Some are tax liens, some are tax deeds. In some counties, like Suffolk, they'll actually sell the property if you don't pay the taxes. In Nassau, which is a tax lien state, they'll sell the lien. Someone will buy it, and then there's a whole long process. You have a 2-year redemption period where you can pay it off plus interest. After that, you can start a foreclosure process, which can take a long time, and you can pay it off anytime. But it'll stay there basically forever until the lien holder decides to foreclose. There is also, if you don't pay your income taxes, the IRS will put a lien on your property. And that'll stay for 10 years and can be renewed once every 10 years in New York. I think that's how it works in New York. IRS probably works the same way all over the country. Then there's a municipal lien where a local municipality will put a lien on your property. I remember there was a guy in my neighborhood who built a property and either didn't get a permit or just ignored the permit, and they told him, we're gonna fine you I don't know what it was, like $1,000 a day, and it's going to accrue interest, and we're going to put a lien on your property. So eventually he did what he had to do, but it took a long time. He was a wealthy guy, but it's still, the municipalities, both for property taxes or for other issues, can really screw you over and put that lien on. I think it stays there forever. I was about to buy a property in the village of Westbury that had a crazy lien, like $60,000, and I was like, this kid doesn't work. And they were like, well, we already gave a reduction from $100,000, and it was over what I considered minor things was a little ridiculous, and I thought the village was being ridiculous. Now, from their point of view, I understand it because they are going to get paid at some point. If there was a lender that wasn't going to be going to foreclose on it, the lender was going to have to pay them off, so they were going to get paid everything. So, I tried to appeal to their sense of decency, but from their perspective, I understand telling me to go screw myself because eventually they're going to get paid off. So now, why are all these lien things important? They are important because you need to be able to look at a title report and see what's going on there. Now, this is much more important in other states than it is in New York. In New York, the truth is, so I remember I once went to meet a guy, a really successful guy, Lee Carney in Tampa. He was buying 50 properties a month, and he was buying these properties, and he had to run title, buying 50 properties at auction, online auctions in Florida a month, and he had to run title on all these properties. And I was buying an auction at the time. I'm like, why the hell does he have to run title? And the reason is because in Florida and in a lot of states, you buy this subject to all the liens. So you could buy a property, an amazing deal. You buy a property for $10,000, it's worth $100,000, but then you realize there's a tax lien on it for $200,000. That's a crappy deal. In New York, that never was an issue. I never ran title, never cared because when you buy properties in New York, it's not subject to anything. It's all clean. So when I would go to auction, I never run title. I'd buy the property, and whatever liens were on there, I knew was the lender's responsibility to pay off. It's a beautiful, amazing thing. I'd run title before I closed just to figure out what the hell was going on, but I didn't have to run title before I bid on it because I knew whatever I was bidding was the only price I was going to have to pay for it. In other states, it's not the same, right? And this is really getting off topic now. Why you really can't do subject to deals in New York? I shouldn't say can't, but I'd say they're extremely difficult. One of the reasons. First reason is because title companies in New York do not run the transaction. Transaction gets run by attorneys. Title companies are basically service providers here. They run the title. They really make sure two things happen. They make sure all the liens are paid off. We'll get to that because that's really the important part here. They make sure the taxes are paid off. So title companies in New York are not going to allow a property to change hands with the lien staying in place. Even if both parties agree, they're going to be like, there's a due on sale clause. Now, I know there are subject to works in a lot of other states. And I know there's a way to avoid the due on sale clause, but let's be clear. The due on sale clause means you got to pay this off when you sell it. There are ways that the lender won't know about it, but it's not like the lender goes, "Oh, you got X loophole to avoid it." You can't. So in New York, the title company is never going to allow that, right? So if you see a property that was sold subject to, you should be very concerned about what title company that was because they're probably full of crap. Because that really shouldn't fly. Now, that's the first issue, title company. The second issue is that the seller is usually represented by an attorney, and I cannot imagine any attorney who would allow his client to do a transaction where the mortgage is selling a property and the mortgage is staying in place. I didn't even explain what a subject to transaction is. Subject to transaction is when I sell a property and my mortgage, let's say, is staying in place. The new person is taking it over. Now he's going to say he's responsible for making payments, but in truth, it's still on my credit report. So from a legal perspective, any attorney that would allow his client to do that, and then even if the person buying it is honest, if they screw up and just don't and screw up his credit, that attorney, in my opinion, is going to be liable for malpractice. So it's very hard to do subject to deals here. But again, the more important reason is that title companies in New York are really going to be adamant about just making sure the liens are paid off. I don't care if you two agree with each other. The liens are going to be paid off. Now there are other liens that might stay on. They will allow them to, in certain situations. I actually just bought a property with minor liens staying on, but the mortgage not staying on place. I had to pay off. So this is how liens work, and I hope this was helpful. If you are interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are interested in finding out more about a course I teach to do what I do, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. I'm looking for some more private lenders. If you're interested in lending money onto deals that I do, you can give me a call in the office at 516-209-2010. If you are interested in coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you're watching on any channel, please click the thumbs up. I really appreciate the likes. They've been helping me out getting me more visibility lately. And please keep the comments coming. I post 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say. The comments are helpful. They don't even have to be about the video you're watching. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something I've covered before, I'll send you links to a video or videos on that topic. And if it's something new, then I will do a new video on it. Thank you very, very much for watching.